based on all the information you've given to it. The next one is what? Cost reduction. That's another reason why it matters. It helps us reduce costs in the sense that it reduces manual error and rework through automation. There are some tasks whereby, especially when we are working on major taxes, whereby there are some mistakes that might happen. You can easily use AI to help you automate those tasks. You might think, oh, doing the simple task is already used to me. But there are sometimes you make mistakes. That, oh, this is what you've been doing, but there are human errors that happen. So it helps us reduce costs, right? So, and lastly, scalability. You can work you can work on complex projects. You can handle more complex data, right? So now, normally before, if you want to do a summary of a project or something, you have to read lots of documentation, lots and lots of documentation. And it's another thing to now understand everything you've read. That is if you want to start a small business. Now, if you want to start a bigger one, what would you do? And that is where AI is now important. It has made it very easy. Helps us with documentation, helps us with lots of things to make it easier for us. Planning helps us with prioritization and so on. Right? So that is the difference. Now, the next thing we'll be looking at is key AI tools for transforming work. What are these key tools? We've talked about why it matters. Now, what are these tools that are used in transforming work for both a project manager's perspective and a business analyst perspective? What are those tools? Number one is what? Tax automation that I just talked about now. Tax automation. And there are several tools that can be used for tax automation, which includes Zapier, Power Automate, Automate Approval, and several other ones. All these are AI-powered applications. The next is what? When you want to do documentation, this one falls under project management fully. When you want to do documentation and communication, you can use your Copilot, you can use your ChatGPT. A business analyst also documents. Don't forget, he has to do his research. He has to analyze. And then we have Rovo. Rovo is majorly used in software development. You want to work on software projects, you want to work on agile projects, you want to work on Scrum, you want to work on your Jira, majorly. That's where we have Rovo, which we'll also do a demo on going forward. Next, you can also use AI to perform predictive analytics using these tools, which includes the Power BI, Tableau, delivery dates, and so much more. And we have other ones that include AI, intelligent PM or project management platform. This simply means the tools we use in project management. These are like the basic ones, but integrated with AI. These tools include Asana. We have Asana before. Now, Asana now has AI in them. Monday.com, we had Monday.com before. But Monday.com has upgraded. They now have AI in there, meaning that it can be easier. So now your work is not to dwell on what you know before. You have to always build up. Even these softwares, they are creating updates day by day. So we have several other tools, ClickUp, Jira, for Rovo, and so on. Depends on what you want to work on. And we have business analysis tools, which includes Lucid Charts AI. We have Lucid before, which is basically used for task flow. I'll also show us going forward. It is used for doing workflow. You want to do a wireframe design of what you figured out. You can simply use Lucid. Micro AI is there. We have Copilot. I know most of us must have used Copilot. We must have used Zoom at some point, right? So these are several other ones that are being used. Now, we talked about AI replacing 99% of work. How will AI replace 99% of work? And what are these work AI is going to be replacing? What are this work? The first one is what? Repetitive work. AI is going to replace repetitive work. The one that, oh, it's just normal, do this, do this, do this. There's a pattern to it already. AI will take it up. Now, that should not fear you guys, because of one thing you should know is as everything is evolving, we ourselves, we have to evolve with it. What does it mean? If AI is taking the job, why don't I learn AI so that I'll be able to manage the AI when that time comes, so that I can be the one to automate those tasks? Fine, AI is doing it, but it still needs someone to automate it, someone to set up that process for it to go. So the only way it's going to be replacing your job is if you remain the way you are. That is the only way. Another thing is going to be replacing is decision support. In the sense that, as I've said several times, if you put a document in AI now and tell you summarize this and give me a good report, it will do a perfect job for you. And if you want to do that same work, you will imagine how long it will even take you to do that. That is why it would help in what? Decision support. Lots of people are leaning towards AI for mostly everything now. Coding, writing reports, right? Even designs, lots of things. People are relying more on AI. That is why we need to be able to upskill ourselves. The next is documentation and communication. This is very, very common because of it helps us draft a lot. Oh, ChatGPT, I want to send an email to my boss. I want to work on this task. Give me a detailed breakdown. It will help you do detailed breakdown. AI draft and formats content for you. All you need is what? The right prompt. You just need to have that right prompt and give it to it, and it will download everything for you you need. And one last thing that AI will be replacing is what? Analysis. Analysis. AI processes and visualize data at scale, meaning that the AI processes, when it comes to interpreting human interpretation, you get a data. This is basically for business analysts. When you get a data and you start interpreting yourself, AI will say, no, 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 I can do it for you. Basically, give the AI the data you've gathered. Every data you got, just give it to him. And it will do a good job at interpreting that data for you. But don't forget what I say. A good prompt is also necessary. You must know how to prompt the AI. AI will always give you results, but you must know how to use it to get the best result out of the AI. Now, I talked about some AI tools, and one of them I'll be showing us today and I'll be walking us through is what? The Atlassian Rovo. Rovo for Jira. And what are we going to be using it for? I created a scenario for us today. But before we go on, I'm just showing us a picture of how Jira board looks like. The Jira backlog, this is how it looks like. Right? This is a full, you see all the different issues that have already been created for it in here. Now let's get right into what the scenario is. But before we do that, we want to talk a bit about the things we are going to be seeing in JIRA so that we don't get confused. Now, if we want to go into JIRA, and as I've said before, there is a major framework that is mostly used when you want to use JIRA, which is what the Scrum framework. Now, how do we get to Scrum framework? I'll rewind back a bit. In project management, we have different methodologies. We have the hybrid, we have the waterfall, we have the agile, right? Waterfall is a sequential approach of doing your project. If you don't finish one step, you will not be able to move to the next step. And if you don't finish the next step, you will not be able to move to the next step. That is sequential approach. It's very rigid. And that is waterfall. The way the name is waterfall. It falls like that. You don't skip. And then we now have the agile. By the name itself, you even know that this one is truly agile. Meaning that you can work in sprints, you can work in iteration. All what these words I'm using simply means is that you can work in bits. You can work in smaller chunks. I can say, oh, let's quickly release this feature and send it out. We don't need to build everything at once. We can work on this feature, send it out. The updates, the way we used to have update on our phone, that is them working in sprints, working in iterations. They don't wait till all the features they want to build is set before sending it out. They send the little ones they've done to your phone, especially WhatsApp. I know most of us must have used WhatsApp. How many of us have seen those updates that is always gotten on WhatsApp where they'll tell you upgrade? I know it's not just WhatsApp, but WhatsApp is common. How many of us have seen that notification, update your WhatsApp? You will not even see it as notification. WhatsApp message will just come on your phone like that. You see WhatsApp sending you a message that they've added a new feature. How many of us have seen something like that before? I'm not seeing the raised hands. How many of us, I'm asking, how many of us have seen something like that before? Okay. All right. So yes. So a lot of things like that happens, and that is them releasing it bit by bit, bit by bit, right? Now, that is agile. But under agile, we now have what is called the different frameworks in agile, different frameworks. And we have several of them. We have the Scrum. The major ones that are mostly used when it comes to Scrum is what? When it comes to Agile, is Scrum and then Kanban. The both of them are majorly used. Scrum, Kanban. We have Lean, we have Less, we have Safe, and so on. Several of them. But the two major ones that are used is what? Scrum and the Kanban framework. And today we are going to be looking at the Scrum framework, and that's how we got here. Now, under the Scrum framework, we have different terminologies that is being used, right? And I know we talked about AI, but before we go into AI, we need to know how the tool basically work so that we'll be able to use AI in there. Now, these are some of the terminologies we will be seeing in the JIRA when we go there. The first is what? Epic. Epic represents multiple features or many stories. Let me break it down for you guys. Epic simply means when you have a container or a group with so many things inside. And those so many things are what we call the user stories or features. All right, so that is what the epic is. So it's more like, I'll use another example. It's more like us having a group of boys and a group of girls. anything relating to boys, anything relating to a man, or features of looking like a male, it will be in that category. So we have the male category and the female category. So for you to be in the male category, you guys must have similar features. Okay, this is what we see that makes you a male, and this is the things we see that makes you a female. This is you putting them in different groups. And that is how epic is. Epic is just a word used in Nigeria. It's more like a group for multiple story, when you have different stories together that are similar to each other, that they have the same similarities, they have the same features, all of them will be under that one epic. That is epic. Now, features, as we've said before, features is just basically smaller epic. They too, they are like small groups, but they don't have as much stories compared to the epic. Epic is like the Godfather. There's a lot of children under it. Why features is more like the nuclear family, where you just have few people in there, the siblings and the parents, everyone is there, or the siblings under the parents. Right, that's feature. And then finally, the user story that we've been using all through. What is this user story? This one are known as the smallest increments of value. And what does this mean? It simply means, user story simply means when you write a story, when you write a story in the perspective of the end user. Now, what do I mean by that? You go to a restaurant, you sit down, and then they come to you, the waiter comes to you and tell you, oh, hello, good afternoon. Welcome to our restaurant. What do you want? Now, that is the waiter asking you what you want. When they ask you what you want, it simply means they want to take your user story from your own perspective. They want to build something for you. They want to give you something, but they need your own input so that they can build what you want exactly, so that they can give you what you want. So the waiter comes to you and say, oh, hello, how are you doing? What do you want? And you place your order. I want this, this, and this. After saying all the things you want, the waiter takes the note. Pam, 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 you want rice, you want chicken, you want, and so on. He lists it out for you. And at the end of the day, he goes in there and start making your order. That is them taking your user story. And that is how what user story simply means. It simply means and who does this mostly? Who takes the user story? It's majorly the business analyst, because they are the ones that would hear from the person that wants to build the product, the owner of the product. Okay, what do you want to build? The person I'm telling, I want a fintech app, or I own a restaurant and I want to have a food delivery app, right? They'll tell you, I want to have a food delivery app. The business analyst will be listing it down. And then at the end of the day, you hear, okay, oh, after them taking everything you need, they'll tell you, okay, oh, this is how long it will take us. This is your budget. If you are good with it, you proceed. And that is how it is. User story simply means when you take the story or what the end user wants to do from their own perspective. Now, how do we write an agile user story? We've created a simple template or a simple format to do that, which I will explain going forward. Now, let's go into the scenario for today. This is the scenario we'll be looking at, which is what? Case study focusing on EduTrack Pro. A university performance and operation dashboard. That is what they want to build. Now, what is the scenario about? EduTrack is an education technology company developing a web-based analytics dashboard for universities. The goal is to help university management make data-driven academic and operation decisions. Now, this is the scenario of the project. This is what they want to do. Now, the product owner will now outline everything he wants to do. What are the key takes of what he wants to do? One, academic dean should be able to monitor students' performance trend, course completion rate, and lecturers' workload in real time. This is what the academic dean wants to be able to do on that app. This is him giving his own requirements. The next thing, the finance officer should be able to track tuition revenue, outstanding payments, and departmental budget performance through interactive dashboard. Right? This is another thing they want, under requirements, key requirements. Now, the business analyst has been tasked with breaking down these requirements into user stories and adding them in the product backlog. This is what the product owner has done. He has given you what he wants. Give me what I want. That's what he wants at the end of the day. So you now, the business analyst, you will now take this. You will now decide to break it down with your team. So I went ahead to break down this thing based on what they want. Okay, well now, the first step is the business analyst conducted stakeholder interview and gathered the following high-level requirements. This is you breaking down those requirements up there. Right? Academic dean should be able to view average student GPA per department. They should be able to monitor course completion rates. This is you breaking it down. They should be able to view lecturers to student workload ratio. They should be able to compare tuition revenue versus department expenses per semester. They should be able to, finance officer should be able to track outstanding student payments. Now, this is what they should be able to do on that app. Now, our work is what? We've gotten all these things. Now, the business analyst needs to convert all this to user story. And how does he do that? He used this formula that is down here, or use this template that is down here, which is what? I used to call it the 3 Ws. That's the easiest way to remember the template used in writing a user story. It is called, I use the 3 Ws formula. The first one is what? The who. When writing your user story, you have to write it from the user's perspective. Who wants to use it? That is the first one that is here, which is as a, you put the who there. Who wants to use it? As the person that wants to use it. The next W is the what. What do they want to do? As a user, I want to, you put the want there. And then finally, after putting the want, you will now put the reason why. What's the reason why you want this thing you want? So that it will be able to drive the people that are going to be working on the project. Okay, well, this is how the workflow for this project is going to be. So the first one is the who, the what, and the reason why. That's the 3 Ws. And this is the template that is majorly used when writing a user story. As a user, I want to be able to, you put your action and then the reason why. Now let's go into Jira and see what this is about. So if you want to go into Jira, all you need to do is come to your browser and click on Jira. Just click on Jira. You'll see, just search for Jira. That's all you need. And then you'll be able to get all this information. Just click on enter. The next thing is what? It takes you to your normal browser. And you see the first option there, Jira. www.atlassian.com/Jira/software/Jira. Then you just click on it. After doing that, it automatically takes you to your Jira space. Now, because of I already have a Jira board before, it takes me to my Jira space. Tells me pick up where you left off. So give it a moment to load up. All right. So normally this should show me my different boards that I've created or joined, right? So for now, I'll just go with this one. I'll go with this, click on it. So if you have any questions or just feel free to put it in the chat. And don't forget, if you want to get more knowledge about everything I've been discussing, feel free to fill the feedback form that my colleague is dropping in the chat. Feel free to fill it. You get full access to everything I'm discussing for today. Full access. And then the recording also, you'll be getting that. All right. So this is how the Jira board looks like, right? It opens up like this. Now, this is because of I have created a project here before. I have created a project here, and this is what it looks like. I can see my different projects I've worked on. I can decide to go there and pick. Now, what we are going to be focusing on today is what? I'll just go with this one. What I want us to focus on today is this new scenario we want to do. So we'll not be spending long. As we've said, we're going to be using AI. And the AI that is used in Jira is called what? Let's put it in the chat. Who can remember? What is the AI I said we are going to be using in Jira? So I'm looking at the chat here to know how many people are following me all through. All right, while I wait for that, we'll quickly create a demo project for this course for those that want to go through it. But don't forget, if you want to get full access to it, feel free to do that with us. Now, if I want to create a new space, a new project to work in, right, I'll just create a space. Space simply means where I can work easily. Where I can work easily. That is space. You can create different spaces for several projects. Now I'll click on space. All right, so we have people saying, okay, Belkis, Jira, and then we have Asabi, Rovo, Jira, Rovo. Nice. Thank you very much. I see that people are following me. Now you can see it saying create a space. So I'll just click on create space. So let's give it a moment to load up. So while we wait, I don't want to delay us too much. Let's just go into the one I've created for today. This one might take a bit of time. I'll just go into the one I created for today. All right, so now we have this here. So what do we want to do? We want to work on this project that is titled, let's go for the title again. Let's go for EduTrack Pro. And we don't want to start building everything from scratch. And what do we need for the project? We need to create a user story, and then we need to create the acceptance criteria. What do? We simply come here. I have my Rovo already installed on my laptop. So I'll come to my extension, manage extension, and you'll see my Rovo here. And how do I get my Rovo? You can easily, normally the Rovo follows your Atlassian tool. It follows your Jira. It follows your Atlassian tool altogether, which includes Confluence, Trello, Jira, and so on. All these are project management tools. Don't let them fret you. All of them are just tools, which you eventually learn about if you take the program with us. But nonetheless, Rovo is integrated into Jira. But I decided to download an extension for it just to show us here. For those that might not be able to have full access to it. Now, all you need to do is go to your extension browser, click on Chrome Web Store, and then search for Rovo. You'll be able to put it in your laptop or your system. So I'll turn on the toggle it on, then you see my Rovo sign shows here that I have it set up. So the next thing, I'll go to my projects. Okay, oh, this project that they said we should work on. What did they say? Create a business case. But now I want to be able to do this in such a way that it captures everything. I'll just click here, take the scenarios that I have that was given, take the scenario, open my Rovo app. So let's give it a moment to come up. Shouldn't take this long. The network is a bit slow. So while we wait for that to come up, there are a few things I can show you on the Jira part. You remember I talked about the epic, I talked about the user story, and so on. All those are included in our product backlog. And this is how our backlog looks like. You see the different tools at the top. You see your summary, you see your timeline, you see your backlog, you see your board, right? So we'll go to backlog and click on backlog. So in our backlog, we have we have two major types of backlog. We have the product backlog and we have the sprint backlog. The product backlog and the sprint backlog. Now, what's the difference between the two of them? The product backlog simply means where we put all the user stories, all the issues that we want to create for that project. Now, if you want to work incrementally, if you want to work in sprints, after you prioritize all the tasks in your product backlog, you now start moving them bit by bit to the sprint backlog. Now, I said I wanted to show us how the Rovo works. So now we have the Rovo opened here. First thing I need to do is paste the introduction to the scenario I have. But don't forget, as I've said before, AI is just there to assist you. Don't let it take every single control of what you're doing so that I don't give you a wrong answer at the end of the day. Right? So after putting it in there, the next thing is what? You go back to your stuff and then look at, oh, what is the next thing I need to do? Step one, build this and this. I'll put it here because these are the informations I need. Now I've gotten all the information relating to the business. Now I want you to be able to do something for me. I'll just type the prompt. I want you to create or using the scenario above, comma, I want you to create an epic user story and acceptance criteria that I will be needing for this project. All right, so now I've done it. All I need to do is click on the send here and it automatically takes in everything, Robo Thinking. And you see it giving you a summary, detailed breakdown of everything you need. Now you see Epic 1, it creates it for you. Academic performance and workload. And don't forget, for each Epic, you have to have one unique thing you want to achieve. Now you see the Epic name here, you see the summary, you see the description, and under it, you see the user story it has created for each of them. Now it has done this for us. All we need to do is what? Pick it up one by one and put in our Jira. Now, at Deepin, we've integrated this into our Jira. All we need to do is do a prompt, but that is a long one. That is going to take some time. So we'll just pick it one at a time and put it in there. So you can also use a prompt and you'll have it imputed directly into your backlog. But now let's just do it one at a time. I'll just do one or two for us and then we are good to go. So now I want to create issues. I want to create a user story on my backlog. How do I do that? And as I've told you, this is my backlog. This is my backlog, the product backlog here. Let me highlight it. The product backlog. The product backlog, this is it here. And then we have the sprint backlog. This is it here. The product and the sprints. So now, I want to be able to create, and I said before, the product backlog is where you have all the things you want to work on in there. Right? All the issues. Now, you can either create from the top here or from the bottom here, which is create. Anyone will eventually come to the backlog here. Now, the first thing I'll create is I want to be able to create the first epic. Now you see the difference why I said an epic is just like a container. It will not necessarily be in the backlog, but I'll show you. So first thing is I'll create an epic. When I click on the create at the top, you'll see this button that says work type. All you need to do is change the work type to epic. You see it here, epic. Click on it. And then you put the summary. Let's just put the title of the epic here. We'll go to the top and then you see it here. Academic performance and workload, or we'll see this epic name here. Academic Dean performance. Let's just pick this one. And then we'll Control C and then Control V. You put it in there. Now we'll put a name. Let's just go on. I'll just click on create. Let's quickly create it. All other details can be filled later on. So we've created it. You see that it didn't show on my backlog, but you see that it shows here that I have created it. So how would I see it? I can easily just toggle on panel for, I can easily just toggle on the panel for Epic. You see it here, Epic panel. Just toggle it on and you automatically see the Epic on the other side here. So now this is the Epic I just created. Now, after doing that, the next thing you want to do is what? Let's create a story. Let's just create a story, right? So how do we do that? We'll click on the create. We'll come here. Don't forget, change the work type. We've created an epic. If you decide to not change it and create it again, it will automatically go to an epic. So you need to change it. So I click on it and I click on story. So you see that there are other work types that you can create apart from story. You can create a bug, you can create task, and several others. But we want to focus on story for today. So the next thing I want to do is after changing it to story, I'll go and pick the title here, which is what view average student GPA per department. That is the title of it. I'll just put it here and then I'll create it. I'll still work on it later on, but let's create it first. I'll click on create. I want to show you the difference now. So immediately this one shows the create here. You see that it automatically shows in our backlog here that we have created it. unlike the epic that did not show. So if I create any epic, it automatically comes to this epic panel here. And any other work types come to this place. Now we've created the epic. Let's put in our user story and acceptance criteria. So how do we do that? You just click on it. It opens up that same panel for you. All right, so you see the panel here. All you need to do is what? Open it up. You see different labels here and so on. But now we want to just add our user story and then acceptance criteria before we move on. And where do we add that? We'll add it in our description because of this is where the team is going to be coming to check it out. And don't forget, both a project manager and a business analyst use the Jira platform, both a data. Now, normally, you should sit down and start thinking of all this user story, all the acceptance criteria. You'll be the one to sit down and be thinking about it. Ah, where do I start coming from? Where do I start? How do I know the stories to create for this project? But now, with just a prompt, I'm able to get all the stories I need, at least, if not all, but majority of the stories needed for this project, just with a prompt. Now it has saved me all the stress of going to do research and all. Now let's go into creating the user story. So I always like to put my head in first, user story, highlight, then bold it. All right, so this is me creating the user story. Now, as I've said before, we want to create a user story for view average student GPA per department. Now, if you want to create it, and don't forget, the person that wants to do this is the dean. Is the dean. So the dean is the user as of now. The dean is the user. So how do we start? You said as a academic dean, because he's the person that wants to use it, he's the user. As an academic dean, comma. The next one is what? The what? What does he want? I want to view the average student GPA per department. This is what he wants to do. Right? So now, after getting this out, the next thing he wants to do is what? After putting it, the next thing is acceptance criteria. No, not acceptance criteria. We've done the user story. In the user story now, we've put the who there, who wants to use it. We've put the what. Now, the next thing is the reason why. Why do they want to do it? Why? And that is where the so that comes in. So that I can identify departments that needs academic support or recognition. Now, this is it for user story. Now, there are a lot of things to cover when it comes to this, right? We won't be able to have all the time to do that for today. So I'll just take a pause here for today and go back to what we have for us, what I have for you guys today. So the next thing is what? How do you guys, you might be wondering, oh, but before I move on, how many of us are still with me? Please use the raise and put any emoji in the chat. Let me confirm if everyone is still here with me. I want to see emojis in the chat. Let me know I still have people here with me. All right, Blessing is still here. All right, that's good. It's the only Blessing that is here with me. All right, we still have Okeze. All right, so that's good. All right, that's great. That's great. We have Okeze, we have all right, that's great. I just joined. Oh, that's also great. You did not join too late. All right. So now what we've done so far is what I teach you guys or I showed you guys project management and business analysts and how they can be able to utilize AI in their work process. As I've said before, you don't need to, AI is now here to make life easier for us, but we need to learn how to use AI. We need to be able to get to that level. We've talked about a project manager. If you are leaning towards a project manager or you have an idea of a project manager and you feel, oh, I'm leaning towards the project manager or I'm leaning towards the business analyst part, which AI tool would I need? How would I be able to get better at my own parts? So now the question will be, how do you get started? How do you actually select the right path for you? Is it a business analyst part or a project management part? Olayinka said, I'm here too. My network is terrible. All right. So if you are just joining and your network, if you have network issues, don't forget, feel free to fill in the attendance my colleague is dropping in the chat. You get access to the recording, and then you also get access to this slide that is being used to teach. So fear not, you're still safe. Everything is still secured for you. So you're not losing a lot, right? So now, I asked the question, before we move on, I asked the question, which career path would you like to choose? We have two major career paths for today. The first one is the business analyst part, and then we have the agile project management part, right? So I want to see in the chat, which parts are you truly leaning towards before we move on to the what we have for today? Which parts are we leaning towards? I want to see replies from everyone. So look within yourself. Oh, I feel I'm leaning towards a business analyst because of I like to analyze, I like to do critical thinking. I like to be able to look for ways to solve issues, or you feel you are the blessing. That very much. Have other people also, right? Good, that's good. So I'll be looking at the charts for other ones. Now, according to the World Economic Forum, in the next 4 years, which is by 2030, 170 million jobs would be created, while 92 million jobs will disappear. Let's take that in again. 170 million jobs will be created, while 92 million jobs will disappear. That 92 is a whole lot. And that's because the world is evolving. There are a lot of things that we do then that if you do it now, they'll be looking at you that, where are you from? What continent are you from? Because a lot of things are changing. Now we have AI. 5 years back, we don't know anything relating to AI. Now we have remote roles. 10 years back, we don't know anything about remote roles. If you say remote roles, they will tell you are not serious. So everything is changing. And as 92 million job is going to disappear, 170 million job is also going to be created. Now, look at the chart I have on my screen. The middle one are the jobs that are stable. So let me put it in a slideshow. Sorry about that. The middle one, the middle jobs are the jobs that are going to be stable, which is in the blue color. The one by my right are the green ones, which are the jobs that are going to be created. The jobs that are going to be created. But before I go on, can you guys still see my screen? Oh, we're still looking at the Jira part. So, okay. Now, I was talking about the career path and I mentioned project management here. This is where I was talking about the career path. Now, the next thing is what? We're looking at the jobs that are going to be created. This is the World Economic Forum I was showing us earlier on. It's called the Global Employment Change by 2030. So this information is open to anyone. Anyone can easily get access to this information out there. So anyone can simply get access to this information out there. So as I've said before, the middle one is the job that are stable. We have several jobs that are stable. But towards your right, you see that these are jobs that are going to be created. The 170 million jobs we talk about that are going to be created, right? And this little box you are seeing, you see that all of them are in boxes. All of them are in boxes. The little boxes you are seeing simply means 1 million job per box. 1 million job per box. So we should be able to have about a few amount, a couple of amounts here for it to make up 170. Now, towards my right, you see the red color. These are jobs that are going to be destroyed. The 92 million job that will disappear. These are the ones in red. Now, we don't want to be in the job section that is going to be destroyed or disappeared in the next 5 years. We want to be leaning towards jobs that are being created. The jobs that are stable, the jobs that are being created, those are the parts we should be leaning towards. And that is why we need to upskill. That is why we need to grow. Now, looking at this is also the World Economic Forum. And you will see that in here, we have project management role. And you will see it is in blue color. Looking at the right-hand side, you see that these jobs are red. These jobs are the jobs that are going to be destroyed. They are going to disappear. Looking at this side, don't worry, all of us will get access to the slide, we'll get access to the recording. All right, now let's go on. So towards my left, you see the ones in blue colors, and you see project management in there. And as I've said before, the blue ones are the jobs that are stable. And you see that a project management role is still there, agile project management. Now, the next is business analyst, management and operation analysts. You see that this job, these two major jobs, are still jobs that are going to be around in the next 5 years to come. So you are safe. So we are not teaching you or we are not bringing jobs or opportunities for you that are obsolete. We are bringing opportunities to you that we know is still going to be relevant in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years to come. Right? And that is why we are leaning towards this. And I'll also show us more as we go on. Now, if your part or if you are leaning towards the project management aspects, if you are leaning towards the project management, oh, based on my own skill, I feel I should go for project management. Now, this is the key learning areas for you. This is the key learning areas for you. And what is the role of an agile project manager? An agile project manager is like a facilitator or coach for a team that works on projects while using the agile method. And they ensure that the team achieve their goal at the end of the day. And as I've said before, the joy of every project manager is to make sure that a project is delivered on time, within schedule, and within budget. Now, if you are taking a course with us, and It is not just us bringing project management to you today. We also check the average salary earnings for this role, the role of an agile project manager and scrum master. And you'll see it at the top right corner of my screen. In the UK, you can earn an average salary of what? 53,000 pounds. This is in the UK. And in Canada, you have 97,000 Canadian dollars. And in the US, an average earning of what? $120,000. So you see that there's a lot of earning in this role, and it is unique. For a role that is this high, meaning that people are going for this role, and it is very valuable. People want this role, right? People want to employ people for this role. Now, what are the key learning areas? You are going to be learning a lot if you take a program with us here at Analytics. And this is majorly a course breakdown of everything you'll be learning in the program with us today. The first one we'll be starting with is what? The introduction to project management methodologies and structure. This is where we'll be taking you from the basics. And I know I mentioned the methodologies before, right? Where I mentioned the hybrid, the waterfall, and then the agile, right? This is where we'll be bringing you in like babies. Don't forget, if you are coming in, you don't need to have any prior knowledge. We will groom you from the base to the top. So you don't need to say, oh, what skill do I need to have? What knowledge part do I need to know? I'm currently in this part of my life. Don't worry about all that. I asked us a major question when we started. Which part are we leaning towards? And there are some key this thing we need to have within ourselves, which is which part am I leaning towards? Which skill do I have? Do I have skill of communication? Do I have skill of planning? Do I have skill of collaboration? And so on. If you have those skills, you know you're leaning towards the project management part. And if you have the skill of critical thinking, analyzing, bringing up solutions to business, you know that you are leaning towards the business analyst part. And as I've said before, for Agile project management and Scrum Master, the first thing you'll be starting with is what? Introduction to Agile project management methodologies and structure. After then, we'll now move to project management skill and communication. This is what we'll be doing the fundamentals of project management. We'll be teaching you these communication skills and the things you'll be needing. And then we'll move to foundations of Agile and Scrum. And I know I touched a bit about that today. I touched about Agile, I touched about Scrum, and those are just the tip of what you'll be getting. The next is understanding the Scrum framework. So we're not just teaching you just the fundamentals or the foundations of it. You're going to be understanding the framework, the Scrum framework itself. What is it used for? How is it being used? Next, we'll move to the Scrum artifacts, which includes the increments, sprints, product backlog, and so on. So these are the artifacts that we'll talk about. And we'll talk about the artifacts, we'll talk about the Scrum ceremonies, the Scrum roles that are going to be needed for the role of a Scrum Master. Next, we'll look at advanced Scrum and Agile practices. And what do we do in here? This is where we'll be giving you hands-on practicals of how your Jira, we just touched a bit on Jira today, right? In-depth use of Jira, how to use Jira from beginning to the end. We're going to be doing a breakdown for you. And that leads me to the seventh learning key areas, which is what? End-to-end use of Jira and Confluence in projects. You are going to be learning end-to-end. So as I said before, you don't need to have prior knowledge, but if you have, it's also a plus. But that's not an hindrance. All you need to do is just start today. After learning end-to-end Jira, That is Scrum. I talked about Kanban framework also, which we'll also be looking at here, the number 8, which is Kanban board for workflow management. So we'll also be looking at that. And next we'll look at the agile matrix and reporting. How do we report the velocity of our team? How is the progress of the project going? How is the velocity of the team members going? How many tasks has been completed? How many tasks is remaining? Are we on track with what we planned? We said we are going to be finishing 5 tasks today. How many tasks have we actually finished today? That is where you use your velocity and your burn down chart to check. And that will help you to know, oh, I'm on schedule on this task or I'm not on schedule on this task. And as a project manager, you should be able to monitor your projects. Reward application, leadership and real world application. We are going to be giving you different case studies, bringing real world experience, people that have worked on different projects. So we're not just teaching you, we are giving you real world experience. Oh, all the skills I've learned as a project manager, I'll put it in class, put it as a scenario, a case study. We are all going to work on it. This is how a project manager should do. This is how a project manager should lead. This is how it is being applied in the real world. And then we'll talk about Nexus Skilled Scrum. And then finally, preparation for PSM examination. After taking every bit of this, it will help you with the preparation for your PSM examination. So after doing all this, all you need is to brush up on everything and you can easily write your PSM examination. Now, what are the tools that we are going to be looking into or using majorly for this program? The first one is what? Confluence. We're going to be using Confluence a lot for documentation. We're going to be making use of our Jira as long as we are working on agile projects. We're going to be making use of our Jira a lot. And then finally, Trello. These are like the 3 major tools we are going to be using. And there are several other tools in project management, as I said before, several others. But if you learn the workflow of these 3, you'll be able to easily navigate others. All what you need is, oh, what is this tool used for? It's a task management tool. That sounds like what Trello does. But everything has their own designs. We have ClickUp, we have Trello, we have linear.com, and several others. It's basically how you use them. All of them have the same workflow. Now, this is everything you're going to be learning from us. And now, how is our live classes? If you want to join our program, we have 2 sections for classes. We have the morning and we have the evening section. We'll make sure that we accommodate everybody. So if you're okay, oh, I'm a morning kind of person, I like to work in the morning, you can decide to say, okay, I'll go for evening. But if you're the kind of person that say, oh, my evening is free, let me do evening, or my morning is free, anyone that works for you, you can decide to go for that. We made it easy for you to pick anyone that works for you. That's why we made it 2. And for both sections, it's the same thing that are going to be taught. So whether you attend the morning section or the evening section, it's just for you to have a preference. And that's not all. We're going to be doing self-paced video. This simply means we're going to be giving you your LMS platform. You have access to an LMS platform where you can watch videos of everything relating to project management. So we have pre-recorded videos for you that you are going to be watching going forward in the role and in your class as the section proceeds. So for each section, you have your self-paced videos to watch at your own pace. Now, what is the learning timeline like? The program spans for 8 months. 8 months, 6 months for learning, and then 2 months for internship. So you're going to be learning 6 months. Everything that is here, you're going to be learning in 6 months. And after then, you now do a 2-month internship. Now, what are the different, after doing all this, what are the different career paths you can actually go into? So after taking a program with us, you can work as a Scrum Master, can work as an Agile coach, an Agile project manager, a technical Scrum Master, a Scrum team facilitator, a Lean Agile coach, a project coordinator, and then finally a Lean project manager. There are several others you can also work on, right? There are several other career paths you can also move into. So this is just a little bit that was mentioned for us today. Now, we don't just we don't just teach you or we don't just coach you on what you need to know. We also help you create what is called your portfolio. So we help you build your portfolio. And what does this portfolio mean? It showcases all the skill you have, everything that is being done in class, because you are going to be working on different case studies. You are going to be doing lots of practice, and you need to be able to put this thing somewhere so that you can present to someone, this is what I'm doing. This is what I have done. And that is what it is. So if you have access to the link, all you need to do is click on this link, and then you'll be able to see these portfolios, right? So we have several others. Now let's go to the business analysis part. Now, if you are leaning towards the business analyst part, what are the key learning areas you need to take note of? What are the key learning areas? The first one is, but before we move into there, what is the salary range? You see it up top right also for UK, $52,000, £52,000. For Canada, 74 Canadian dollars. And then for the US, $85,000. So there are people in need of this role. So it is not a role that is going obsolete anytime soon. So what are the key learning areas? We have one, you're going to be learning Excel, Power BI, and SQL. And you're not just learning, you're learning from the base. They're going to be teaching you from the base, so you don't need to have prior knowledge. We're going to be teaching you from the scratch to the top for all the three softwares. Next is process mapping. You learn how to map processes. After then, you are going to be doing project initiation planning. How to initiate a project. As a business analyst, you'll also be looking at Agile and Scrum for project. You know, as I've said before, we have overlappings when it comes to the role between a business analyst and a project manager. Right? So the fifth one is what? Software development lifecycle. We're also going to be looking into that as a business analyst for this learning area. The next is what? Requirement fundamentals. How to gather requirements for a business. You will also be learning that. How do we gather requirements for business? After that, we'll be looking at elicitation, and we'll be looking at stakeholders analysis and engagement, and finally, ChatGPT for business analysis. As I've said before, AI, we are leaning towards the AI world. So a lot of things are going to be dependent more on that. So you need to learn how to use that. You need to learn how to use AI. Now, what are the tools we are going to be using? The tools and the technologies you are going to be using for this program. One is what? The Excel tool or Excel software. We are going to be having the SQL, the Power BI, the Lucid Chart, and the Draw.io. So these are the things that we're going to be looking at. We have the Jira, we have Confluence, we have Trello, we have Azure DevOps. So there are a lot of tools you are going to be practicing, and all of them are going to be touched on in this program. All. Now, the learning program is still the same. The learning program is still the same. Saturdays, we have our live sections on Saturdays. Not all Saturdays, but at least twice a month. And the Saturdays that we don't have live classes, we have the drop-in sections, which I'll talk about going forward. We have the drop-in sections. And then we have our self-paced videos that I talked about, which is called the Watch Me Do It videos. Now, what are the career paths for a business analyst? If you take the program with us, you can actually work as a process automation analyst. You can work as a business architect. You can work as a process improvement analyst. You can work as a business process analyst, business system analyst, IT business analyst, product reliability engineer, and then requirement engineer. So all these are the things you are going to be working as. Now, we also have a portfolio here for that showcase the work of a business analyst. Don't forget, this one is just one of the participants from our program that has this, and we just picked it and we use it here. Right? All what we're saying is everyone, every single one is going to be having a portfolio at the end of their program with us. We're going to be teaching you how to build. And if you want to see it, you can easily just fill the form in the chat that my colleague is dropping, and you'll get access to this full slide and then the recording. Now, the strategy that will land you a job in 2026. I know a lot of us must be interested in this. What is this strategy? What is the strategy? Because everyone at the end of the day wants to land our dream job. That's the goal. So how do we land this job? The first thing is what? You learn. And that's where we'll come in. You take the program with us as a project manager or a business analyst, right? You learn. You don't just learn and say, oh, let me just do it. You focus, you learn because you know what you are aiming for at the end of the day. And after learning, you position yourself. Oh, I'm getting the skills. I need to be able to position myself in case someone is passing by, probably on LinkedIn or somewhere, and they see my profile, they can easily say, let me take a second look at this one. And how do you do that? We provide what we call an employability section for everyone here. So we're going to be helping you with CV revamping your CV so that it can look premium. We're going to be helping you with your LinkedIn optimization. We're going to be helping you with your portfolio. We're going to be helping you with mentorship, job interview preparation, job references, and then on the job support. So you have a lot of offers from us. All you need is what? Learn and then start positioning yourself out there. Sell yourself out there. And finally, you start applying. You don't just apply once a day. You apply like a machine, but with precision. That is why we tailor our CV. We help you tailor your CV. We'll make sure that, okay, well, this is how you tailor your CV. If you want to apply to different roles, this is how you tailor your CV. So you don't use one CV for several roles. No, you tailor it based on the requirement of that role you are going for. You tailor it there. I will teach you how to do that also. And at the end of it, you are going to land your job, your dream job. So if you follow this process, you will eventually land your dream job. Now, I know this might look a bit too impossible. Oh, how do I get started? What do I do? How do I even start the process? It always seems impossible until it is done. There are a lot of people that have said, how do I get started? And they've taken that first bold step. All you need is that first bold step. And I'll show you some success stories of people that has actually taken that first bold step and they've been able to complete this program and land a good job at the end of the day. So the first is what? We have Esther. Esther with no tech background while in Nigeria worked as a carer while taking the program in the UK. At the end of the day, she landed her job after following the process that we provided. The first one was she learned. She joined analytics program in April 2025. And then we helped her package herself, which is what? We helped her work on her CV, tailor her CV to fit the role that she was applying for. And she joined all mentorship sections. And finally, she got prepped for multiple interviews. So she's not just coming for just one interview, she did multiple. So she was always ready to apply. She was always applying. And that leads us to the last one. She applied to multiple jobs, both in the UK and in the US. And one sweet thing we also do is what? We put all the jobs for you. We scrape different jobs from different job boards and put in a board for us. We call it the Analytics job board, where you can see different job offers, all the different job openings. You'll see it on that job board, and you can easily click on it. And for each job she's applying for, she's tailoring her CV. And at the end of the day, she was able to land her dream job. And when did she do this? She landed her job in July 2025 while still in the program. So that doesn't hinder you. You can start the program today and you can start applying. Now, this is also Judith, had a background in HR in Nigeria, worked as a carer while studying in the UK. She joined as a business analyst. She joined our business analysis program in 2024, March 2024. Did the same thing. We helped her package as Sylvie. She joined the different mentorship section. We prepped her for multiple interview section, and then she started applying. And finally, she got a job in July 2024. So this process, it works. So you can still watch the full interview with Judith here. You see the link posted here. So if you want to get access to this, feel free to fill the form in the chat where my colleague is sharing, and you'll get full access to it. So we're not just forming all this, we're not fabricating it. Click on the link and you'll be able to see a foolproof interview that was done with Judith. Now, how do we land this job? There is a formula we use here at Analytics, which is called T plus E, which will eventually give you the job. What does the T stands for? The T stands for technical skill, while the E stands for employability skill. Technical skill simply means all the things you're going to be learning. That is the technical skill. And then the employability skills is the ones that will help you stand out, the packaging aspects. And with the two of them, you'll be able to get a job offer. Now, if I'm not boring you guys, just to be sure I'm still have my audience with me. So can you guys put in any emojis in the chat? Let me make sure that we're still here. If you're following through with me, put in any emojis in the chat channel while we move on. Any emojis? So I'm looking at the chat now. Let me know how many people are still with me here. All right, so see the thumbs up here. Thank you very much. Okay. Now we talked about the employability section. What is it about? It's divided into several categories. These are all the things you are going to be getting here with us. The first one is what we are going to be helping you review your CV, review and revamp. So when joining us, immediately you're joining us, the first month you are going to be submitting a CV, any CV of your choice, probably the one you've used before or something. And even if you don't have a CV, we'll also teach you how to quickly write a CV, submit, and then we'll help you revamp that CV. Put it on a very good standard. This is one of the employability section that is in there. The next is on LinkedIn optimization. You must be able to put yourself out there for people to see. And how do you do that? The best platform is what? The LinkedIn platform, a professional platform. Will help you optimize your LinkedIn, set it up as a professional. And next is navigating the job markets. Will help you navigate through the job markets by what? As I've mentioned before, we scrape out different jobs from different job board and put in a spreadsheet where you can easily click and apply for the job on that sheet. The next thing we offer is interview prep, which is interview preparation. So peradventure, you were applying and you got different interview. Oh, you have an interview with us next week. You can easily reach out to us at Analytics. Oh, I have an interview. Please, can you guys prep me? We'll gladly do that for you. We'll gladly do that for you. So that's one of the employability skill we'll also be offering. Next is job reference. Now you've gotten that job and you need a reference. We're also going to be giving you a job reference to show that, yes, you truly learned with us. And you not just learn, you intend, you get the knowledge with us. And after getting the job and you still need support, okay, I'm not perfect with what I'm doing with this skill. Oh, how do you guys help me? We'll give you on the job support. On the job. So you have a lot of spec joining with us. And then finally, you have mentorship you have mentorship sections. It happens every Thursdays. Mentorship section where we'll be teaching you how to we'll be teaching you interview preps, we'll be teaching you LinkedIn optimization and so many others. And also we'll be bringing professionals from different fields into the section to teach us. And finally, we have the Upwork optimization for all those that want to go into freelancing. We'll help you with what we call the Upwork optimization. Now, here are some of the success stories of thriving people training here at Analytics. So we have several of them here. We have Lois. Lois here was an accountant. She was an accountant with zero experience in tech. But at the end of the day, she joined the business analysis training and she was able to land her job. Same thing for Ngozi here. Same thing for Oluwadamilare here. So you see the link here for their video testimonials. So we are not just here giving you any information. All these are backed up with facts. So we have different testimonials here. Everything is here. So you can easily, what I want you to do is you can easily, okay, see all of this. All I want you to do is you can easily just fill in the form and you have access to it. If you want to watch the videos to verify, feel free. Right? So now going forward, you see all of that jobs here, and then the next is what? Our next cohort. Our next cohort is starting pretty soon. Do you want to keep staying in the sidelines looking at other people getting this job, or you want to take that first step we talked about? That first bold step, are you ready to take that? If you are, our next cohort is going to be in March 7th, which is I will say next month is just a few weeks away or a week away to next month. So what are we going to be offering you? Here, for our programs, which is spanning for 8 months, for everything I've talked about so far, you are going to be having the total cost for it is what? $1,250. But there is one good news I have for us today, which is what? We are going to be giving a 20% off discount for the first 20 people that are going to be registering today. So the price for the full amount is what? 1,250. So if you are taking the course today, you are going to be getting 20% off discounts and you end up paying 1,000 for everything we've talked about. Lifetime access to all your materials, access to a facilitator that you can always talk to, on the job support. There are a lot of things in stock for you. But all you need is that bold step today. And this is not all we have for you. You can decide to pay instrumentally. So if you say, oh, I don't have the full 1,000 to pay now, it's all good. You don't need to pay the full 1,000 at once. You can decide to split it in bits. 200 per month for the next 5 months. So all you need to do is just pay 200 and you secure your spots. Secure your pot with 200. And we have some other benefits for you. If you are able to register today, we have other benefits to you, which is what? And there's more. The first one we have for you is what? Founder Circle. What I call the Founder Circle. What does it mean? If you are going to be registering, if you are going to be among the first 20, we just need 20 people who is going to be having access to that 20% discount. If you are going to be among the first 20 people that are going to be doing that, you are going to be skipping to the front line. And what do I mean when I say skipping to the front line? It simply means normally there are some perks that you will not get until you enter the program. But if you're able to do that now, you'll be able to get a front row seat for everything I'll be talking about. And this is just particular for people that are going to be registering today. It's only applicable to that. So all you need is secure that spot with the first $200. What is the first perk you're getting? Founders Circle. Founders Circle. And what does it simply mean? It simply means you have personalized training and transitioning roadmap with our founder, which is what Adeza and Ifemina. You must have seen them a lot. And these are people that they built this company up to this level. You'll be able to have exclusive access to our founders. Direct access where they will be guiding you on how to apply for a job. They'll be giving you guidance as the cohort starts. At least you have at least 2 encounter, one-on-one encounter with them. You'll be able to speak with them, ask your questions. And this is one of the perks you'll be getting. Another one is what? And that's not all. The next is what? Every mentorship and immediate access. So normally, if you take a course with us, if you register after today, you'll be getting you'll be getting the mentorship access after you've registered. After we start the program, you'll be getting the access. But if you register today, you'll be getting immediate access, meaning that next time we're doing mentorship section, you have access. You are in there, even if you've not taken the program. So even if you're not ready to take for next month, you can decide to book a slot for April. Doesn't mean we have that covered for you. So you're going to be getting early access to mentorship section. And that's not all. You'll also be getting exclusive access to what we call the UK Global Talent Visa section. UK Global Talent Visa section. And in this section, I know a lot of people that pay lots of money just to have a section like this. You'll be receiving an insider level immigration knowledge most people will pay thousands of pounds for. But here we're going to be providing this for you. All you need to do is secure that spot. And then finally, the last spec you're going to be getting also is lifetime career support. So we are always with you every step of the way. Lifetime interview prep, lifetime reference, lifetime mentorship access. So it's a lifetime section for you. Right? So you see that there is a lot of things to gain if you secure that spot today. All you need is to secure that spot today. Right? So now, how do we get started? Fine, you want to get started, you want to start making this payment. How do you get started? I'll take it to the window where you'll be able to do that. So we'll come here. So all you need to do is, if you want to make that first deposit now, all you need to do is come to the 10Analytics website, 10analytics.io. And after that, scroll to the bottom and then decide on the course you want. Even if you don't know the course you want at the moment, you can easily just pick one and we'll have someone still discuss with you. You have a one-on-one section, a one-on-one clarity section whereby you'll be explained to, okay, well, this is what can be done, this is what you need to do, and so on. Right? So now, as I've said before, we have several programs. And how do you get started? Let's pick one. Let's pick one so that I'll walk you guys through in case you want to secure that spot now, because that will be the best bet for you now. Tomorrow might be too late to secure that spot. So let's scroll down to project management. Let's go with this. So you click on it, whatever you want, project management or business analyst. I click on it. So you see for now, the price has been slashed. Just 20 people. So now you read through, you see everything that is needed, and then you come to the enroll now. Click on enroll now. It opens up this page for you. Now, next thing you want to do is what? Confirm which cohort you want to join. You can either secure a spot for March, which is starting pretty soon, or for April. So even if you are securing for April, you still have access to your mentorship section today if you register. You have access to your mentorship section today. And you can be doing that while your cohort is starting April. Right? And that is it. So let's pick March and then let's move on. So you see the price here and you can decide to change it to whatever currency you want. Now, we'll make it even more better for you guys. Meaning that if you are paying if you are doing a one-time payment, we still give you another discount, which is what? You are going to be paying $850, saving up to 32%. That is if you are paying once. You are going to be paying $850. And if you are going to be paying twice, you see, you pay $450, which is amounting to $900. You are paying twice, that's 2 installments. You'll be saving up to $350 instead of paying the full amount of $1,250. Firstly, we've given a 20% discount for being among the first 20 people to take this program. And then we'll now give another discount if you are doing one-time payment or a 2 installment payments. Now, if you say, oh, doesn't work for me, I don't have that money now, it's all good. It's all still good. You can decide to register with $200, which is here, right? And you can break the payment down up to 5 months. So pay 200 first month, second month 200, up to the 5th month, and you have that completed. A very flexible choice for you. Now, how do you get started if you want to make this payment? You just click on the one you want. Let's go with the $200 per month for 5 installments, and we'll click on apply discount. Mainly you click on apply discount, it shows you, oh, applying for discounts now. Applying for discounts, and you have your board where you can easily verify your information. You see the price, a total fee of 20% off. See, is already off for you. And you see your total price here while saving $250. And that's why I said you need to register today before this offer closes. So now, total fee, you're going to see the breakdown of it here. So if you're paying today, which is what? February 26th, the next payment is what? Your next payment or your second batch of payment is going to be on March 26th. The next one is going to be April 25th. Going on like that. And this is how you pay. So, and if you want to make payment, you can also decide to click on pay now. But before doing that, you confirm all the checkboxes here and then click on pay now. And immediately you click on that, automatically you've secured your spot. And it's as easy as that. That is how to secure your spot. So tomorrow might be too late to do this. All you need to do is start now. So the question is, can you afford to wait? That's the question I want to ask each and every one of us. Can you afford to wait? While you are reading this, others are already moving forward with priority. Others that wants to make this payment are already doing that. Most people can wait for 3 months just to get started. If you enroll today, you don't have to wait at all. You can start immediately. And the window is closing tonight. So you have to be able to make that decision today. Make that decision today. What do you want to do? Are you ready to take that first bold step to move forward and continue in this path, this tech path you want to go in? So now you see us, we are very much accredited. If you also want to see our certification, you can click on here and you see it. So we don't just come here without our knowledge. We come here fully accredited. So here you can see so many things we've done so far. So moving forward, I'll open the floor for questions. Do we have any questions from anyone before we move on for today? Any questions? The floor is open. So do we have any questions from anyone? All right then. So I don't think there's any question going once, going twice. All right then. So I'll say there's no question. So now going through this, you see there are so many more testimonials, success stories. If you want to go through them, you see them listed here going forward. So you can, don't forget, if you fill the feedback form, you will have access to this. You have access to this. So if there's no questions, we can call it a day for today. So everyone have a lovely day and then enjoy the rest of your day. Bye guys.